Hello everybody, it's time for an update on that King Tiger Buddy build with Scale Journal. Let me show you what I've done. Alright, so it had been quite some time since I had originally announced the project between Scale Journal and myself. And we are doing a buddy build on the Zvezda King Tiger, which is right here. This is the kit as I had originally announced it, and I've made quite a bit of progress. Let me share with you so far what so far I'm pretty pleased with the kit. It has had a few minor issues, which I will highlight as I discuss this. So the build began with assembling the upper and lower hull halves together, and they fit pretty well. I did require a bit of filler back here where the back plate is, and some up here where these front fenders are. Just a dab of filler. I used a Viejo polyurethane. It's basically a plastic putty, and it's got a pretty unique characteristic in that you can get it wet with a Q-tip or a cotton bud if you're from across the pond, and it will liquefy it. It flows into the seam and dries. It's wonderful in that regards. I love it in that aspect. So you don't have a bunch to remove or a bunch to sand. Then I assembled, of course, the road wheels. No problems there. You did have to remove mold lines from the road wheels. The idler, as you can see here, I have left movable. I have not glued this in place as of yet because I'm going to leave that for when I finally install the tracks. The fenders, I'd like to point out, you'll notice the fenders are missing sections. I used a Tamiya scribing tool to weaken and then carefully break the fenders to simulate battle or wear damage, because these vehicles oftentimes are missing these side skirts in the field. Now, I have also added some accessories I'd like to point out. If you'll notice, there's two small gray pieces back here. This is a resin antenna mount from a Polish company called Panzer Art, and I will leave a link up to their website, or rather an address to their website. And you'll notice there's a resin or gray fire extinguisher. These parts are far more detailed than the original kit part. What was involved in installing these, for example, with the antenna mount, I had to use a chisel blade and scrape away the factory kit part, which was kind of challenging because there wasn't a lot of room to get a chisel blade in there. I discovered I needed a smaller chisel, and I have, as a result, ordered one. The fire extinguisher is a much simpler install. All I had to do was cut away a couple of locator tabs that were on top of the hull, but I did have to remove the fire extinguisher from the resin casting block. That took a little longer than I had anticipated. In addition, I have installed, if you look up here, you'll notice a brass machine gun barrel. This is the Panzerlauf. This is a wonderful part that comes from a company called Armor Scale, which is in if they're in Poland or the Czech Republic. I'll leave a web address up for them as well. The kit part was basically just a chunk of plastic. This thing was actually two pieces. The barrel sleeve actually fits inside the cooling jacket. It's a gorgeously detailed part. It's a turn brass. And the Panzerlauf barrel was different than the typical MG34 barrel in that most MG34 barrels, of course, had the little round circular holes across the cooling jacket because it was an air-cooled machine gun. And that was just a bit too delicate for the bow machine gun in most German tanks, because there was a possibility that an enemy infantry might get a hold of the barrel, stick something into one of the cooling holes and damage the barrel, thereby rendering the weapon useless during combat. So the Panzerlauf was a much thicker, heavier jacket than a traditional MG34 jacket. It did two functions, also served to help cool the barrel and protect the barrel, and keeping it from getting damaged during transport and in combat, perhaps by enemy infantry. Now, the one thing that was an issue for me with this kit are the tracks. So I have built the tracks, and let me show you what I've done. The kit tracks, I just gave up on. Every link in the kit tracks had two ejector pin marks on them that had to be removed. I'll show you that picture here. And I just didn't have the time or the energy to want to do that. So what I've done is actually borrowed the tracks. These are tracks that came, these are Mad Dragon Magic tracks that came from a Dragon Jagdtiger kit that I had. And you'll notice this weird looking aluminum tool that I have in my hand. This is the first time I've ever used this device, and to be honest, I was very excited. It works quite well. It's a tool made by a company called Hobby Tracks. That's with an X, and I will put the link in the description and show you the web address up above here on the screen. And basically, it's 3 pieces of aluminum that are sandwiched together with screws and washer, and you assemble the tracks around the jig so it pre-builds in the sag for you, just like you see here. You just assemble it around the jig, and guys, this was, I mean, it couldn't be any easier, faster, or cleaner. You use a slower setting cement, and then once it's all dried, you leave a link or two that are not, you know, glued together. That way you can get it off the tool. Obviously, it doesn't trap it around the tool. These are wonderful. It's definitely a convenience product. First time I've ever used it, but I can tell you I've got several of these things for different style kits. They're not specific to the kit, but they are specific to the vehicle type. And as long as you leave that idler adjustable, which I've done on this kit, you can take up the tension. Just of course that was its function in real life, which is ironic, but allows you to adjust the idler to the tracks as you install them on the vehicle. So far, very happy with the build. I'm not too far from being done with the actual construction. I basically have the rest of the on-vehicle equipment. I have some photo-etched grills for the engine grills, and I have a beautiful Aber turn metal barrel, which I have already assembled. That was a joy. But hopefully in the next video I will have a little more to show you in terms of construction, and I'm not too far away from getting paint on this. I would think maybe another week or two. But I hope you have enjoyed the update on this buddy build so far. Please check out Scale Journal's channel. Here is a link to his channel and his most recent update on the King Tiger buddy build. I hope you guys have a great week. I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.